I fought the banks and I won, sort of. I mean, they haven't accepted any liability, but look, I have been offered £50 compensation for my bank blocking the payment that I was trying to make for some gold and silver. So I've stood up to the banks somewhat and I've won. But at what cost? I guess, I don't know, maybe one day they'll not like my bank account and they'll tell me they don't want to be my bank anymore. I don't know. But I think it's important to stand up for your privacy, stand up for your rights when dealing with banks right now. It's really scary and sad how much power they have over us. And if you don't believe me, listen to this.
I'm buying some coins. Okay?
All right. But I won't still be able to process this transaction.
What? I just told you what I'm buying. Why can't you process it?
Hello everybody, Backyard Bullion here. Welcome to another Precious Metal Ramble. We've got an update on the ridiculous, stupid banking situation that I covered a couple of weeks ago where my bank, Chase Bank, told me that I could not send my money to a customer that I was buying gold and silver from. If you don't believe me, have a quick listen to this phone call.
I'm buying some coins. Okay? Don't need to be any more specific than that, surely, unless you want me to tell you itemized. Look, I can even look. Did you hear them clinking here in front of me? I have them here in front of me.
All right, coins?
Yeah, coins.
All right. But I won't still be able to process this transaction.
What? I just told you what I'm buying. Why can't you process it?
Right, because you've mentioned earlier that you have only received the account details through email. There were no other forms of communication
I've
between
also got a
you
piece of paper with
and-
them written on that he put in the parcel. Are you actually joking with me? What else am I supposed to do? How else am I supposed to get them? By carrier pigeon? What? We're in the 21st century. What do you expect me to do?
I won't be able to process this transaction.
So their reasoning in this phone call was that I only got the bank details via email, which was factually incorrect because I also had them on a piece of paper that the customer had written in the parcel. And it was just so stupid. It's a typical situation right now when buying anything, I think, online and using bank transfers. The banks don't like it. They are on the hook for it, and it's us, the customers, that are paying for it in the inconvenience and the invasion of privacy that we are being put under, and the brush of suspicion that we are almost all tarred with, that we are all scammers or fraudsters or being scammed. And it's just so dumb. It's stupid. Now, I made a formal complaint to Chase Bank about this, and I won. Sort of. They didn't accept any liability whatsoever. Here's the final response that I got from them. And they said, whilst we couldn't identify any bank error in the process, and the questions asked are part of our security protocol, we acknowledge that you were kept on the phone longer than necessary. The questionnaire had already determined that the payment would be rejected, yet you continued to be asked the questions, making the process unnecessarily lengthy and preventing you from arranging an alternative payment method. Therefore, we're pleased to offer you £50 as compensation, hoping to, and then a typo, put things right for you. We appreciate your feedback, blah, 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 blah. Now, I also had a long phone call with a gentleman from the complaints team about this situation where I shared my views, thoughts and opinions on this. And of course, I can't share that particular phone call with you. There was a lot of confidential information in there. And I think there's a lot of stuff that the person probably wouldn't be comfortable with me sharing because they admitted on the phone that they agree it's a ridiculous situation. And the fact that we have to go through all of this stuff is just sometimes a little bit dumb. And unfortunately, it's here to stay, I think. Now, the guy on the phone was very helpful, very down to earth and understanding of the situation, but at the same time said that it's part of the bank's security protocols to ask these questions. Now, I am very strong on the privacy element of this, and I had a few comments in the first video where I talked about this, saying where I was being a little bit savvy about what it was I was buying. I didn't want to answer that question directly, and rightly so, I think. It's not any of their business what I buy. And to be fair, 95% of the comments on that video were the same thing. The banks can go stuff it. They do not have that right to ask those questions. And the guy on the phone call, on that particular fraud phone call, was quizzing me about this, saying I have to tell them, it's in the terms and conditions, I have to tell them exactly what it is I'm buying. It's not in their terms and conditions. They just hide behind blanket things of, if we suspect that you could be being scammed or it's not above boil, all this crap, basically. It's here to stay. And they use it under the guise of protecting us, the consumers, but ultimately they're protecting themselves because they only have their own interests at heart there. It's patently obvious to me that that is the case. So I was very keen to not share that information. And when I said this to the complaints handler, he completely understood. If you're buying precious metals and you're buying coins, for example, and you don't know who you're talking to, some bloke at the other end of the phone, lady, man, whoever it is asking you all these very, very private questions. Who's to say they're not just writing down a little note going, oh, this guy's bought some gold and silver. We know his address because we've got it on record here. And how do you know that information is not going to be leaked out or he's going to use it? And you just don't know. And it's very important to be private. So I fought my corner, and I firmly believe that the call handler in that particular case was a bit salty about the fact that I did that. However, some extra information came to light in the complaint part of it, which I'll share to you just after a quick word from today's sponsor. Testing your precious metals and making sure that they are indeed precious is really important. And to that end, I'm very happy to partner with Trusty Metrics, who are the UK's exclusive supplier of the Sigma precious metal verifiers. But it's not just the UK, they can supply all around the world, and they are really good at what they do. The machines are fantastic, and I stand by them as incredibly valuable pieces of kit to have for any stacker or small business or big investor. Whether you are testing gold on the investor model or testing big 100-ounce silver or indeed gold bars, they can test up to those big chunky gold ones as well. These machines will not let you down. They are fantastic and they are really good. And they've helped me grow my business over the last few years to levels that I thought I wouldn't really ever get to. So go and check out Trusty Metrics. You can go and ask them any questions about the products, the different machines that they've got, and everything that you would need to know. All of their information is on the website, as well as all the different machines that they've got available for sale. So go and check them out. And as I said, they ship worldwide and they'll help you test your stack. If there's something you're not sure about, their customer service is second to none. And I can highly recommend them, the team, and these machines. So go and check out Trusty Metrics. Links are down in the description box below. Big thank you to Trusty Metrics for their ongoing support and sponsorship of our channel. Go and check them out, links in the description box below. Now, the really interesting part about the complaint that came out was that the questions that are asked are basically a set amount. There's a questionnaire that the call handlers have to go through. With this bank, it might differ from bank to bank. And if you don't answer one of them, or if the answer isn't deemed to be satisfactory to the call handler's opinion, they mark it as like a no, a little cross in the box. One cross, tough, that's it, no more. You cannot proceed with the call. So the whole point about this complaint was that, when I said to the call handler that the bank details had been given to me by email, he then immediately clicked that box and I said, oh, and also he's given me a note in the package. He can't uncheck that box. So it's done. Now the inflexibility there is ridiculous. And so part of the complaint was they, kept me on the line for another 15 minutes quizzing me about what the coins were. He's just a robot basically going through all of these questions. It reminds me very much of that Little Britain sketch. Computer says no. It's just awful. There's no common sense. There's no easy way to resolve these kind of things. It's just, sorry, tough, you can't do it. Now, I genuinely believe that the call handler was also very salty about the fact that I was standing up to him, standing up for my rights to privacy. And indeed, in one point in the phone call, I sort of tried to strike a bargain with him to break the ice and say, look, if you want to invade my privacy, it's going to cost you. If you invade my privacy, I will be asking for £100 compensation and a complaint. And he was just like, you just ignored it basically. And I then eventually told him. And then he just, as you heard at the beginning of this video, you heard my reaction to it. What are they expecting? Carrier bloody pigeons? I mean, it is just ridiculous. To say the least, I would say, have some flexibility. And the fact is, I don't think it was in that particular snippet of the phone call, but I think at one point I was like, look, I have the coins in front of me. I was clinking them over the phone. The person had sent me the coins and then I would pay them when I got it delivered. But no. They would not take that on board. And again, it's like this whole process is just driven by checkboxes. Computer says no flexibility, job done, you can't send your money. So my genuine questions to the complaint handler there was, well, what's the point in banking with Chase Bank if I can't send my money to people when I want it to? And And his answer was, we're following the rules that we've set out to protect you, the customer. And you go around in circles. You can't really get an answer from them. So I think it's fascinating that I managed to get £50 in compensation from them. So there we go, black and white, you can see. I'm not making it up. It's just amazing, isn't it? How many, no offense, but idiots out there will think that I'm just some kind of shill for the banks, even though I'm complaining about the banks and I'm making up all of these comments for clickbait. And no, I've got literally a voice recording of the phone call, and I've also got this proof that I've won, but they don't accept any liability. So anyway, it is what it is. I don't think it's going to get any better. In fact, I think it's only going to get worse. Although, having just said that, very interestingly, I did make a couple of payments, not even precious metal related this week. There were a couple of bills that we had to pay to some contractors, and I made the payments, and they went through just fine with Chase. And do you know what? I said to Mrs. Backyard Bullion when I told her, she was like, "Oh, you won 50 quid." I was like, "Yeah, I won." She's like, "Was it really worth your time?" Because I spent 40 minutes on hold, and then 20 minutes on the call, so that's about an hour. Then I raised the complaint, that took another half an hour. Then I had the call with the complaints handler, that was another hour. Is it worth your time? I'm like, no, it's not really about the time. It's the principle of it. And the fact that I've won sets a precedent now. So if they do it again, I'm going to do it again. And I'm going to bloody well ask for 50 quid again. And I'm just going to keep on doing that until they get the message. Now, maybe they have already somewhat got the message, because the last couple of payments that I made went through without any problems. I mean, they weren't for precious metals, but again, they wouldn't know that they're for precious metals if they ask you in that fraud phone call. So it's not necessarily that the banks are stopping you buying precious metals. It's just, anyway, it's a lottery, it seems, but it's happening more and more. And I'm seeing it more and more over on different social media, people sharing their stories of it. And I think it's just going to get worse. So there we have the little story and conclusion to that. I think it's ridiculous. I'd love to know what you think about that. Now we need something cool, this is cool. We need something for the Cool Kids Club members to quote me. And this, I'm gonna annoy some people here, but I love this. This 5-gram raw mint bar. We're gonna take off this cellophane. And look, before people shout at me, "You're messing with the intrinsic value of the product." Oh my hell, it doesn't matter. And if anyone's had a brand new mobile phone and takes this off, you know the feeling. It's so good to do that. Yes, please. And then there's another one on the back that we get to do as well. Let me know if you've got this same OCD in your brain that whenever you see these things with cellophane on, you have to get them off. Here we go. Some ASMR. Let's see if this works. Oh, yes, that beautiful ASMR of the peel coming off. Right, Cool Kids Club. We need to find this serial number, so let's get nice and close and find it. So here we have the 5-gram gold bar with serial number. It's a bit difficult to read this one. I think that's SB027716. So if you are cool, quote me that, and I'll know that you're cool because you've quoted it. You also will be entered into our super secret squirrel. The camera over focuses. Again, go on camera, you can do it. Super secret squirrel giveaway. So when we hit 75,000 subs, what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose one random video and one random Cool Kid Club commenter, and you'll get a super squirrel secret prize. So there we go. Thank you all for watching. Subscribe if you've enjoyed our content, if you enjoy our little rambles. Go and check out Trusty Metrics down in the comment section. Great company, great organization, and amazing precious metal testing machines. Otherwise, that's it from me. We'll see you on the next video. As always, please make sure that you like, share, comment, and subscribe for more.